Hey folks, it's Jared Mannanen from the website TahoeTrailGuide.com. May 21st and we got about an inch or two of snow. And this is at lake level, which is at about the lowest level in the Lake Tahoe Basin. So, pretty nice. Although most people are ready for summer up here, and I don't blame them, but I don't know, it's just a cool little experience being out here in the snow in spring, and it is really coming down now. It looks like I just rolled out of bed. It's pretty much because I did. We got some snow yesterday, and I decided, well, this stuff ain't gonna last long. It never does in the spring, but it's fun to get out in it while it does last. So I just got outside first thing in the morning. I actually have a day off. I'm back to my summer full-time job as of last week, so my time is pretty limited. And it's all good. It feels good to be back working again. I tend to find that if I have too many long blocks of time to myself, I wind up squandering it after a certain amount of time, whatever that amount of time is. Sometimes it's a week, sometimes it's 2 or 3 weeks, but at some point I don't really get a whole lot done. So having that full-time work kind of focuses me on maximizing the little bit of time that I do have on my days off and before and after work. This snow is coming down. This is great. And it's not great because I plan on going out cross-country skiing, but it's because we've had such a low snow year and everything in at Lake Tahoe has been super dry. It looks like it has the potential of being a really bad wildfire season up here. So it's great that we're getting precipitation in whatever form we can. I've always had some type of an alternative lifestyle in that I've never had a whole lot of full-time 9-to-5 type of jobs. Always, I don't know, just never appealed to me, and I never really had a reason in which to have that type of a lifestyle, simply because I don't have a mortgage, I don't have a family. I've been pretty man-child-like in a lot of respects. As a result, I've always had a struggle with financial concerns, so that's an issue. It's not a glamorous life, having to live on the cheap and be extra frugal all the time, but I do enjoy this lifestyle. And one of the reasons why is because of the time it affords me to pursue passions of mine. So that idea of time management has been something that I've struggled with. There's been more than a few times in my life where I find myself with, a couple of months, a couple of weeks to do projects and to follow my passions. And like I said about those diminishing returns, at some point I just can't maintain the focus or the discipline to keep going without having some sort of a structured schedule. So I've learned over time that if I can somehow work in intervals, so to speak. So right now I have this winter and summer seasonal job rotation, and that seems to be a really ideal solution for me in order to get projects done, because I have a lot of time off in between those jobs, so I can do some projects, get caught up on things, but then at that point where I start to lose focus is about the time that I start working again, which is super helpful to realign my mind and get me to understand how important it is to have some free time in order to produce good work and quality work. That time management aspect of having too much time and having too little time, and managing that, balancing that time is totally applicable to athletic endeavors like cross-country skiing or hiking or whatever sport you play, right? You grind away at it hard for days and days, weeks and weeks, months and months, years and years, and at some point it feels like, and inevitably it always feels like, you're not getting any better. You've plateaued, or you're having those diminishing returns. And a lot of people, friends of mine that I've encouraged to take breaks when they've reached that point, think, oh man, that's counterproductive. That's not going to help me because I need to stay doing it. I need to keep grinding away at this thing. But realistically, the time in between those long bouts of intense training or experience, those breaks actually provide a lot of time for your mind, your body, your spirit to process all of that new stimulus, all of that, repeated stimulus, I should say. May or may not be new, but that I find is a huge element to my learning experience, is just making sure that I have time in between those long bouts of intense work and training and production. Yes, you do forget some of the stuff, some of the good stuff. You also tend to lose a lot of the bad habits that you may have developed while training or producing. For me, when it comes down to it, I just need to find the right balance between too much and too little time. And doing the same thing for too long or for not enough time, right? So just trying to find a way in which to make it so that each time you do it, whether you plan to do it for a day or a year, that you're really getting the most out of the experience. And then once you start to lose a little bit of a focus, you can then just take a break. Taking breaks is so important to me when it comes to learning new things and getting better at a thing. I love sticking with something for a long, long time, but I also know the value in just stepping away from it, letting it go, and really understanding that there's all kinds of stuff that we could be doing in life and getting better at, and those that we want to be doing the most and getting the best at will always be there, even if we do take a break from it. So you can always tap back into whatever it is that you're seeking to do. You don't need to do it every day for the rest of your life. Just need to remember what it's like to do and then come back to it after you've had some time apart from it. And one thing I should probably clarify or point out is that I'm not saying stop when things get difficult in the endeavor in which you're pursuing. I'm just saying at times we reach a point where we're not really getting much more out of a thing. So that's when it's appropriate to take a break, at least in my opinion. I'm not saying just because you're struggling, you should stop and take a break. I'm not saying that. That's actually when you should be working probably a little bit harder when you struggle. But then again, if you are struggling with the thing and you just can't seem to figure it out, stepping away from it is also a valid point. But that shouldn't necessarily be your first impulse, is when things get tough that you stop doing it, because there's always going to be challenges. Mostly what I'm referring to is plateauing and reaching this point where you're just not getting anything done. You don't feel the passion, you don't feel the spark, you don't feel motivated to do the thing. So that may be a good time to take a break from it. Okay, folks, that's enough rambling. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or feedback, post it in the comment section below. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check out TahoeTrailGuide.com. And then if you want to provide any kind of financial support for the health and longevity of Tahoe Trail Guide, as well as this YouTube channel, I have a Patreon account as well as a PayPal.me button option, so you can either contribute on a monthly basis or one-time tip or donation, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, I appreciate all of your support. Thanks for tuning in. Take care, everyone.